Hey, Russ Rogers here. Welcome to the 17 Laws Studio. And today I want to talk about relationships between husband and wife and how we're all different. Like, I can't believe she acted that way when I said this. I was trying to be nice. Or he never shows me he loves me, but he's always wanting to do this. And he thinks he's actually showing me he loves me. All those crazy things that go into a relationship with the marriage. And this is going to be a short video today. But I think you'll find it super interesting and the reason I chose this today is mainly because I keep running into it over and over, pretty much every time I'm with a couple. And I've got some videos on communication in general, but this one's going to be I'm going to just give you some real live specifics. So, now you've heard of love languages, or there's personality profiles, there's all kinds of things that you can do to learn about each other. But there's an overwhelmingly concept that I want you to understand as we get started. Before I get too far, hey, I really need you to follow me here on YouTube and check me out on all the other social media platforms. And I would love your feedback. I'm okay if people don't agree with me, and I'm okay if you do. Put some comments below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what's going through your head as I do these videos. And believe it or not, I mainly do this to help. That's the only reason I do it. I actually enjoy helping families. But back to how do we, because the question is all the time, like my husband doesn't, I don't think he loves it. He didn't act like he loves me. And if I go to the husband, he'll say, well, what do you mean? I did this, I bought her this, I did this. It's things like that. It's like they're so far on the other pay. It's funny. Now I remember I had a guy who I bumped into, and he was talking about, hey, I met this lady, and he's an older gentleman. Met this lady. We're going to get married. We're going to move to one of those square states out west. I've got some property out there. We're going to live in my RV that I bought, my motor home, and we're going to live that for a while until we build our house of our dreams there. We're so excited about that. And I said, man, that's great. Congratulations. And he went in a lot more detail than that. Even had a time frame and all that. Well, later he left, and his wife, or his fiance, came in, and I don't know what her name is. Let's call her Jane. I said, Jane, congratulations. Oh, Bob was telling me about all the great things. Y'all getting married, moving out west, and doing all these fun things. Man, that's exciting. Congratulations. And she looked at me like, what? Heck no, I'm not marrying that guy. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing any of those things. And I thought, oh, well, okay, well, maybe he's, maybe misunderstood. There's no way I misunderstood. And so it was really awkward, but it was so funny. They were on so different playing field. The communication couldn't have been worse between those two, but both of them were very convincing that, hey, they knew the answer. And it's that kind of the couple things I want to talk to you about today. One concept I want you to understand is that we're all different. Gosh, I know that's earth shattering. We're all different, and that's okay. Now, there's where the rub is. Most of the time, we feel like everybody ought to think like us, be like us, respond like us, like the same things we like. And if they don't, there's something wrong with them. Like, I have somebody in our family who's very compassionate. If they run over a squirrel, they're probably going to cry, or they're going to stop. And I don't know. I don't know if they'd call 911 and get an ambulance out there, but they're that compassionate. Now, it'd be easy for me to say, what the heck, it's a squirrel you ran over. They get run over all the time. It's good food for the vultures and the coyotes or whatever. I'm not like going out trying to run over animals. I'm just saying, if you ran over a frog in the road or something like that, I'm probably not going to cry over it. Don't want to run over them, but if I do, that's it. But then there's those people who literally, they're heartbroken over it. And I could easily say, what the heck, y'all are just too sensitive. I cannot. You're going to have to get on your big boy panties and start, you need to, I could think about all those things. But this is just one example. Now, my wife's not a compassionate person like that, but so I'm not like reading between the lines or anything. But I share that because I could say something's wrong with her. And she could easily say, and it's not my wife, it's somebody else. She could easily say to me, "Well, you're just too hard. You have no heart. What do you don't care about God's creatures or what? It could be easily be that way." Or you could take the approach like, "Wow, I am so glad we have compassionate people." So when you're in the hospital and somebody's taking care of you, or you're elderly or sick, or who do you want to take care of you when you're going through something? You want a compassionate person that would get upset if anything happened to you. They're going to do everything to make sure nothing happens to you. That's who I want. That's the nurse I want beside me. So I learned to appreciate that. And then if you're wanting someone to take charge and lead, and they don't have to, and they're not going to be upset because they're getting criticism, because if you're leading, unless you're not really doing anything as a leader, but if you're actually making decisions, doing things, you're going to get criticism. And you want a leader that every time somebody says something nasty about you, he doesn't go on the floor and just cry and just say, "Okay, I can't do this anymore." So we're all different, and it's a good thing that we're all different. For example, let's say you're going to build your house. Do you want somebody who's very meticulous in the details and all those and the personality that goes with that, or do you want somebody who's, "Oh yeah, let's just put some boards over here and let's put some boards over there, and oh yeah, let's throw a swimming pool on the roof. Let's do this. Oh, let's do." No, you want somebody to be that way. So we're all made different. One is not any better than the other. Now, one could be better for building a house, or the architectural plans that went behind building a house. Uh, some of us could be better at like leading a group, or a group of volunteers on a mission trip, or a volunteer whatever charity you have in your town, or a business. Then there's some personalities that are risk takers. Thank you, Jesus, that there are risk takers out there, or we wouldn't have all the great companies out there in the world. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like any of those big companies." Well, at one point they weren't. At one point there was a guy with an idea, and he took a risk, and now there's all these things that are going on. I wouldn't have my iPhone. I wouldn't have that if somebody didn't have an idea and they weren't a risk taker, willing to invest everything. Now, but the people who are going to take care of me in the hospital, the people are not the same ones that are going to mortgage everything they have to put together an idea. They're not the same personalities. So I'll give you some of those to kind of think about, but you really want to make sure you understand that it's not bad. Because I see a lot of husbands who say, "Well, my wife's just too sensitive." Well, that's not true. You're just too mean. That's the real part of it. But we're made different. Like, my wife probably has thicker skin than I do. She might come to me and say, "Hey, tell me what I did wrong in this situation." And she means it. But if I come to you and say, "Tell me all these things I did wrong," I'm probably really saying, "How about you not? How about you just tell me all the good things I did?" I'd rather hear that. So let's just suppose that I'm going to give you a bunch of examples. I see this a lot, where the husband says uh, he loves his wife, and she says, "No, you don't." And his answer will be, "I work all day, every day. I pay for the house. I'm paying for the car. I bought you a brand new car. I bought you this. I sent you and your sister to Europe." And and from his standpoint, it's like, "Wow, I get the Husband of the Year award because look at all these things I did for my wife." But she's not. Yeah, she's going to appreciate the trip to Europe. She's going to appreciate all that. Yeah, definitely going to appreciate all that. But does she feel always, is that going to sustain her and make her feel loved? No. Chances are she's a quality time person. I can't tell you how many families I've been around where the wife wouldn't say, "Hey, I would give up the car, I'd give up the house, I'd live in whatever just to spend more time with my husband. I just want to spend time. I just want us to be best friends and really get to know each other." And when you do that, then and then she feels loved. So guys, you don't have to buy the new car. You don't have to go the fancy vacation. You don't have to do all the crazy things. Spend time with her because that's how she feels loved. Now, that's most wives, by the way. If you do the love language test and personality test and all that, and you find out different, then you need to find out different. But so the problem is that most people show love the way they want to receive love. Equally hard for a wife who's a quality time. She feels like the only way her husband's going to feel love is if she's spending a ton of time with him, and that may or may not be the case with him. I'm hoping it is, but it might be. What I tell you, what's at the top of most guys is words of affirmation. So if the wife is being very affirmative on being having lots of words of affirmation to the husband, he's probably going to want to spend more time with her. I know that. And if you're and why women, if you're not giving words of affirmation to your husband and you're criticizing and you're making fun of him in front of all your friends and family and all that, well, guess what? He's probably not going to want to spend any time with you. And here's another thing. I've said this in a ton of videos, and that's this. Uh, More times than not, the husband or whatever the relationship says, "Well, I'm not going to be nice to her because she's not nice to me," and she's saying, "Oh, I'm not going to be nice to him until he's nice to me." I have it in one of the chapters of my book, and it's called the Law of the Circle of Death, and that is, she shows him disrespect, and because she's showing him disrespect, he doesn't show her any love, and because she's not being shown any love, she doesn't show him any respect, and this just goes on and on until somebody says, "Wait, time out." Okay, I'm sorry, and somebody's got to swallow the ego. Somebody's got to set their pride aside. Somebody's got to apologize and say, "You know what, this ain't working. This isn't working." And if you're that dang stubborn, you're probably not going to be married anyway. So plan on finding a lawyer and deciding where you're going to live after you split up everything. Uh, so somebody has to jump in there and say, "Okay, I'm going to stop uh, acting this way." In the case for example, a while ago, it's like her giving him words of affirmation. And let me share what that is. You go to your husband and you say, "Man, I'm really thankful you work so hard for our family." Well, now she may work hard too, and you can say that too. So I'm just using this as an example. "Hey, man, the way you handled that with our son the other day was beautiful. Man, you're brilliant. I love the way you handled that. I'll thank you so much for helping with the dishes. That was just warms my heart that you're willing to help because I know you worked hard today. You probably don't feel like it." Those are words of affirmation. You give your husband those kind of words of affirmation, and you're not just blowing up. You're not. He's like, "Oh, you're the sexiest guy that ever walked the earth." Well, he's probably not. He knows that. And you're not just making up stuff, or you're not saying, "Oh, wow, you've been working out." And when you know good and well he hadn't. "Oh, you've lost weight," and when you know good and well he hadn't. No, it's just true stuff that you've seen, and you're just bringing it to the surface. So the reason I'm going in depth in this because I see so many. Because a guy might say, "Well, his is words of affirmation." I had a guy know that he felt awesome when he got those words of affirmation, and he would do that with his wife. And then he would say, "Oh, you're beautiful. You're the sexiest person on earth. You do all these sort of things." And he'd come to me and say, "Yeah, I did that. I'm going to go play golf with my buddies. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that." No, she's not a quality time person. And so, well, she probably is. Well, of course, there is a time when people are really stubborn and they don't believe that God made us all different and we give different and we receive different. And then, of course, that particular relationship came to a abrupt, pretty much end for a little while until he got unstubborn. That's probably not a word. And decided, you know what? I probably need to listen because what I'm doing isn't working. So having said that, your how you your people are different now, and that's a good thing. So, like confrontation, some people like bring it, bring it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't mind confrontation. And then the other one who can't stand confrontation, oh, you're just a big old sissy. What's your problem? You just need to man up. You need to have some guts. You need to. No, that's not true. It's just God made them different. They're not good at confrontation. There's some people who are good at mediating, who bring in people together and getting everybody on the same page. And there's some people who can't do that at all because they're the ones who are causing the strife. Now, if you need somebody to go charging in and making big, strong changes, you want somebody to really, do you want that person to be the one that's all like, oh, shucks, I don't know, And then again, if you want a mediator, do you want a guy who's like bam, 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 and with their personality and just spewing venom all over the conversation? Or do you want a mediator type person? That's why we need everybody. We're all made different. One particular personality, giftings, love language, whatever you have, or personality profile, whether it's for business, church, home, whatever you're doing, it's all important. There's not a bad one. There's a bad one for certain jobs. There's a bad one for certain situations, but there's not a bad one. Like if you put me in any sort of role where it's predictable, repetitious type work, and it's very detailed, I'm terrible at that. You will fire me if you hire me for that. You go, but Russ, you're such a good guy. I like you a lot, and you've got all these credentials. And then you put me in where I've got to do small, tedious things that require reading all the details and all the documents and doing all that sort of stuff. I'm probably not your guy. I can do it for a short period of time, but long term, I'll be miserable. I'll do a terrible job for you. Then again, like my wife, she has no interest in being on a video. And she's a whole lot better looking than I am, a lot sweeter than I am, a lot better, well spoken than I am, a lot more educated than I am. She is brilliant, but yet she would rather pluck her nose hairs as to come on a video and do these things. Now, here's something she would do. If you were in our town and you were a couple and we got together as two couples and we wanted to talk about these things, well, then she would jump right in and she would be perfect for that. I don't think the fact that I can do this and she really can't makes me a better person, or I don't think it makes her a better person because she's better at one-on-one or whatever the case may be. We're just different. So in your particular case, your spouse might be like a real health nut, and then you may not be a real health nut. What does that make one of you worse than the other? It doesn't. I have one of my children who I remember we went to a ski lodge when they were young and they were snow tubing and all that, and it was her birthday, and I had the guy up on stage sing happy birthday to her. I thought, Father of the Year right here, brother. And guess what? She cried the entire time, ruined her birthday, because she hated the limelight, hated to be in the public and all that. And I got another daughter, and I think I may have mentioned this before, and I have another child. Now she, on the other hand, if it was her birthday party, and her birthdays are really close, it very well could have been, but if it would have been her, she might have been up there singing with them, and she might have said, hey, can we do another song? Can we do another song? It's just the one that cried, is there something wrong with her? Absolutely not. God made her different. She doesn't want to be in the limelight. She's the thinker in the background. She's the one scanning the room saying, hey, I know what's about to happen. That child is about to break his arm if somebody doesn't stop. I'm going to go over there and stop. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. She's that person who we need. And then we've got the others, somebody who needs to get the people together, lead the charge, and get people motivated to get a project done. Now, that might be at work. That might be on a volunteer basis. That could be whatever. Might be just getting the kids together in the house and getting them motivated to accomplish a project. So if you don't know what your love language is, go to, I think it's Gary Chapman's love language test. You can go online and you can figure out what yours are. I've got some videos on love languages. Just look that up or email me, russ@the17laws.com, and I will send you a link to those. Find those out. There's some other personality tests that you can take, and it's neat for you and your spouse and your children. It's good to know them because a lot of times parents treat their children all the same, and that's the worst thing you could do. That's the most unfair thing you can do. It's, well, I gave them all a bicycle. I want to be fair. I want to be fair. I gave them all this. I did all this. Well, that's the most unfair thing you can do because they're all different. Uh, so, like, I have one child would love to get a new car. I've got somebody else would love to just sit and hang out with me. A new car is an exaggeration. Might enjoy, hey, let's go shopping for an afternoon. Another one just wants to hang out with me. Another one, hey, let's do a project together. Or a couple of them probably like doing projects together. We can build a deck or whatever. So they're all different. But if I told one of them, hey, we're going to go out here and build a deck, it'd be like, what? Or if I went on the other one, we're just going to sit here and chill, or they would do it. But all of them are different. So you want to treat them all different. And one great way to find out is through these love language tests or personality tests or whatever that you have. And another one is just sit down and talk to them and ask them. Like, let's say my one of my sons love to go if we want to go hunting or if we want to go hiking, you want to do whatever. Yeah, he wants to do that. Does everybody like to go hiking? Well, not really. And then some, like if you call me and say, hey, we're going hiking Saturday, I picture 4 or 5 hour hike, right? We're gonna go conquer the mountain. And then my wife, she said, yeah, my wife would say, yeah, she'd tell you right now she loves hiking. But anything past a mile, she's probably gonna say, you know what, you guys go ahead. That's just not fun anymore for me. Doesn't make her less of a person to me. It just I probably like hiking rough terrain and all that more than her. All that to say doesn't make us any one better than the other. We are just different. Now I'll close out here in just a second. I said this wasn't going to be long. I just wanted you to, the next time you get frustrated at your spouse for something, maybe how they drive or what they cooked or whatever the case may be, how they reacted to anything, or your children or your parents or your friends, think about, that just because they don't respond, react like, and everything that you do doesn't make them wrong. It makes them special in their way. God made them special. God made you special. So y'all are just different, and it's neat. The quicker you figure that out and appreciate that, the better. All right, I'll close out here and let you know again. Follow me on YouTube and all the other social media channels. You can email me at russ@the17laws.com for questions. I look forward to hearing them.